I've never actually vomited from alcohol. That's one thing that I'm really proud of. Well, there's loads of other things that I'm proud of. I shouldn't be so proud of that. Hello lovelies! I am currently in my parents' home in Simonstown and they're away, so I'm here all alone and it's rather freaky. So I thought I'd sit here and talk to you about underage drinking, of all things. I read an article the other night about teenagers. Apparently about 50% of teenagers from 13 to 18 are drinking on the regular, which is quite a lot. So I thought it would be great to talk about it with you and answer some of your questions. It would also be great if this video becomes more of a platform for discussion and less of a video. It's something that we all go through whether or not we drink. We certainly see other people drinking underage and a lot of social pressure goes with it, and then of course there are a lot of negative effects. You guys tweeted through some questions, always help me so much when it comes to these videos. Obviously I've gone through the phase of underage drinking. That doesn't mean that I did it, but I may have. You'll find out in the video. But it means that I've gone through it and I've gained some perspective on the whole thing, and I hope that I can share some of my wisdom with you. So the first question is, if I can find them, how old were you when you got drunk for the first time? Well, I had a boyfriend who was 16, so I must have been 15. Yes. 15 years old. I didn't drink a whole lot because back then I could have 1.5 drinks and I would be on my way, and then I would sober up really quickly because my metabolism was so fast. So I didn't get into a whole lot of trouble. I don't even think my parents knew that I had had anything because I just was so sober so quickly. But I was lucky to have been in a safe environment when I did do this. We were at friends' houses and my dad was always there to fetch me. I think drinking at age 15 isn't the most responsible thing to do. You're still very vulnerable. Luckily, I was sensible enough to not get into too much trouble when I drank for the first time. Am I sharing too much? Are you gonna hate me now and think that I'm a terrible influence? I don't think so. This is reality, guys. I mean, in Western society, when you're 15, there are a lot of opportunities to have a drink. I wanted to experiment, so I did. And this is why I'm sitting here talking to you about it. Can I have a drink underage if I don't get drunk? I think in a lot of cultures, people do introduce drinking at a younger age, especially at dinner, with family, safe spaces. I gather that it is not harmful, but I'm not an expert. Obviously, it's better to drink a little than a lot, but sometimes when people drink a little, they want more because it feels good and you want to feel great. But if you're well into your teenage years and you want to have half a glass of wine in a safe environment, I think that that's okay. I'm not advocating underage drinking here. Please make sure that you take note of that. I'm just saying that yes, oh, something's happening to the light. It's better than drinking a whole lot, put it that way. Some people will disagree with this, but I think that if you drink a little bit when you're underage, you kind of learn more about what alcohol is all about. I think if I were to have children and they were, you know, 15, 16 years old, I would encourage, maybe encourage is pushing it, but I would be okay with them having a small bit of wine or something not too strong, just to learn about it. Are there any advantages to drinking? I think this is a really interesting question because the bottle stores on each street corner would probably say there are loads of advantages, and so would you after your third glass of wine. But in reality, there are just too many disadvantages to say that drinking is a positive thing. I think it's for you to decide for yourself, keeping in mind that there are a lot of risks involved in deciding for yourself. So just be careful and be aware. Nobody likes putting their head in a bucket, do they? How would you convince young people that drinking underage isn't cool? I think it's quite hard to convince people who think something is cool that it's uncool. But if I were to try and convince them, I'd say that they have their whole life to drink. You won't believe how quickly 18 or 21 comes along. And I think what is cool is embracing that time in your life for what it is. Alcohol's gonna be there, okay? You don't need to rush and grab it before it's time. Can underage drinking lead to drug abuse in the future? It's quite hard for me to sit here and answer that because every person is different. I think that drinking can lead to silly decisions because you lose some of your discretion, you become a little free and easy. So maybe there are risks involved that you'll never really know unless you try. So try in a safe environment and be open with people around you. If you're suddenly losing control, speak to somebody so that you don't go down a path that you don't want to. I also think it's interesting that alcohol isn't really considered like such a drug, whereas marijuana and all the other drugs are drugs, and alcohol is just alcohol. Alcohol changes your state of mind, like other drugs, and it can be highly addictive just like other drugs. And we can also pop cigarettes in there. I just think you really need to be careful. You don't know if you are inherently an addict. We don't know if we're addicts. We don't choose to be addicts. Addicts choose us. Be wary and reach out if you are finding that difficult. I have a few friends that are drinking underage, and they've been telling me to do it as well. Any advice on what to do? I had a friend through high school who didn't drink. We were in a group of friends and most of us did drink underage, occasionally at parties and things like that. And she made a decision that she was only going to drink alcohol when she was 18, and she stuck by that, and we all respected her. And I know that doesn't always happen. I think you need to see it as them trying to get you onto their side, because they know they're not really doing the right thing, but they'll feel better about it if you come along and join in too, especially because you know you are such a strong, highly moral person. I think maybe you not drinking is a great example for them. Stick by that. If you do want to try drinking, then that's a different story. Just do it in a safe environment, like I said. What can the effect be of drinking? There are so many effects. Not very many of them are positive. One thing that really stuck with me though was when I was underage and I was in London hanging out with my cousin, and we decided to go to the Wimbledon Common where everybody was socializing, which meant standing in little groups and drinking, and the girls were glugging down vodka. I'm sure the guys were too, but I was watching. There was this one girl that just had half a bottle in one go, and it was that kind of drinking. And all of a sudden these dodgy fellas came over and they started speaking to us and talking about boobs, and one guy came quite close to me and I got really scared. And all of a sudden they were on the other side of the common and there was this big fight that started. It was really awful. Some guy got beaten up real bad. He had pissed himself, he had vomited, there was blood everywhere. The guys who did it just ran away, and everybody else who remained behind all got questioned. It was really scary, and I was quite young and it shocked me. If you ever go to these common areas, just be careful, because stuff can really go wrong. You're not in a safe environment at all. You're out in the open like vulnerable little deer where the lions and tigers can get you. I think I may have spoken enough, but I'm really interested to hear about underage drinking in your community. I would love for you guys to respond in a comment below. If you have any more questions, please leave them below. Those of us who have got experience will be sure to reply. Thank you so much for watching. You've kept me company this afternoon. Bye! Hello lovelies! I am currently in Cambodia and I'm sitting next to my Kentucky tour manager, Cassie.
Hi!
So basically she is the perfect companion for this video, where we will be giving you some travel wisdom to help you get out of your comfort zone, go traveling, and how to avoid those terrible travel disasters.